You're watching Blitz TV.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Has that thing been rolling that whole time? So we were just talking. I love that. We were just talking about the fact that Ray is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So he's kind of a close homeboy over here. And you were talking about how you played baseball.
Yeah.
Got your picture taken. Thought you were going to grow up and be a pirate, and the drum kit got in the way.
Yes. Me and Willie Stargell, we're going to do it the whole way. No. Yeah, it's weird. And I started playing baseball, and I started doing drums kind of at the same time. That my parents got me a kit when I was 6, and I just would annihilate it and just play along with AC/DC, Kiss, Rush, Van Halen, Ozzy, just pretty much self-taught, you know. And then, but baseball really took over for a while. And then, but once middle school hit, I got in a little rock band, and that was it, you know.
So you started in middle school with the bands.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, jazz band, marching band.
Okay, so what was your very first band that you put together?
Original band was called Cry Wolf.
Cry Wolf.
Yes.
How old were you at that time?
We sold 7 records. My mom bought 3. No,
Nice.
Probably 13, 14. Yeah, because we watched. You know, it was like that generation with like Solid Gold and all those shows. That, like I would just glue myself to the TV and really like watch, and just like I was so enthralled by everything that was going on, and no one really in my family was musically inclined. You know, it was like I just gravitated towards it, you know. And my sister, I think, took piano lessons when she was 4 or 5.
She still play?
No, she owns a petting zoo in Pittsburgh, 204 Critter Country Animal Farm. Go there.
Check it out,
yes.
Pittsburgh Critter Country Animal Farm.
It's amazing. Go check it out.
Well, my dad's side of the family's from Washington, PA, as I was telling you, so we go to the Pittsburgh Pirates games when we go back home.
Yeah.
So that makes us kind of sort of related.
There you go. We're in.
Ray, the drummer from Korn, we're here tonight. Blitzmas 2014 is sold out. Not only Korn, of course, but King 8110, who just started 810, and, of course, Nothing More, who we love a lot, too.
Are they locals here?
No, they're not, but we've been playing a lot of them.
Yeah, they're really good.
King 810, we haven't had a chance to actually play on the station yet, so we've got to kind of work on that. We've done a little bit of it on the whole metal shop, but we got to get them on the... Which, by the way, I found out that King 810 is a band that you guys sort of picked and asked to come along on the tour.
Yeah, that was well, it was us and Slipknot. Slipknot brought them to our attention, and they're out of Flint, Michigan, and they were blowing up in different parts, and we're like, this band's really unique. You know, the record's really unique, and they really bring something special to the show. So it's a lot to take in if it's the first time you've ever seen them, but we really dig them, and we look for uniqueness out there. There's a lot of bands that sound the same, and there's a lot of cookie cutter kind of bands out there. So a tour as big as the Slipknot Korn tour became, you know, it's amazing to see arenas filled in 2014, and now we just found out Wembley sold out in the UK.
Amazing, right?
Slipknot and Korn, it's like it's so we're blown away that people are still coming out like that, and it just goes to show you rock's nowhere near dead, or metal. You know?
I know. I want to punch a person in the face.
Yes.
That says that.
Yeah.
So this Prepare for Hell tour, when it started to come together, and it was like Korn, Slipknot, and then you get King 810. I heard there was kind of sort of I'm a little bit nervous to open up for Slipknot sort of thing. Did
not
that
really.
end up kind of dissipating a little bit after the show?
Yeah, because it's we're all brothers, you know. There's none of that attitude, ego thing going on. It's like, and Corey said on many times, if it wasn't for Korn, Slipknot wouldn't exist. So that's a very cool thing to say. And I'm not an original member, obviously. I've only been in 8 years, but it's cool. We're all brothers, you know. We've all played together, and when they ask us to do this, there's like, what are you going to say? No. I mean, come on. It's like, and so I think a lot of our fans are also Slipknot fans, and vice versa. So that helps out a lot, because there's sometimes you get on a package where you're like, ooh, you know, that didn't really mesh, or, you know, we've played with Journey to, I mean, you name it, Korn's played with them. You know, that's what's cool about being in a well-rounded band like this. You know, and
there's a lot of festivals that you play where you're going to be with a big mixture of different styles of music. Saw you guys at Louder Than Life Fest in Kentucky, and I've seen Korn a million times, but that show, there was something that was fired up special, and I got a feeling that has to do with the return of Head.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the invigoration of the band with Head being back, and all the excitement around that.
Since it's funny, I've been in the band almost as long as he's been out. So and I'm a huge fan from way back, and I'm a fan of bands. Like, I get it when you're a new member of something, it's like you know, when I saw Alice in Chains with a new singer, or when I see my favorite band with a new drummer or something, it really changes something in there. But, you know, me speaking from my side of it, sometimes it brings a whole new energy and a new spunk to the band that maybe they didn't have before. So I always wanted, since I got the gig, there was the 3 originals, and I've always wanted the 4 originals up front and me in the back driving. And so that was like when that Carolina Rebellion show happened, and he got up and jammed with us. You know, I had the best seat in the house because I was viewing this happening, and I'm like, oh, this gotta happen. But we didn't rush it. We took our time, and Monkey called him one day a couple months later and said, hey, if you ever want to just get together and write, I'm just throwing it out there. And he's like, yeah, give me some time. And he called back a month later and said, let's do this.
As a huge fan and so many other Korn fans out there, that was just the best thing to hear. You know, it was just like, man, there's something that needs to be back to place, and that was exactly what it was.
And the writing thing was so awesome because there was no tension. It was just, there were a bunch of goofballs. I mean, we're all in our 40s now, and it's like we were 12. I mean, they were cracking jokes and playing Rick Springfield songs, and there was none of this like, oh, I hope we can come up with a cool song. It would just, everything just flowed really naturally, and we had, next thing you know, we had 25 songs.
Yeah.
And John came down and he's like, well, what is all this? Like, so he started picking his favorites and writing lyrics, and it was just exciting from the get-go. So
the paradigm shift is awesome. The reissue with Hater and stuff is amazing, and I've already heard you guys have started talking about working on new music already that's going to be a little bit more dirty and aggressive and a little longer songs too. What's the thought behind all that stuff?
Well, you know, it's a nonstop process. We always are writing. You know, that's now we released a song through the John's. I don't know if you saw on the internet, John's with the diabetes type 1.
For his son Zep.
Yes, and we released a new song called "So Unfair," and that's been sitting there for a while, and that was one of my favorite songs that didn't make the paradigm shift. So it's really cool when we're nonstop. Like John's on his bus today writing a song on the bus. I mean, it's just, check this out. He'll wake you up in your bunk 3 in the morning, like, you got to hear this, and he's so excited, and so like, it's an awesome place to be because a lot of bands are burnt, especially when you get this far in your career. You're like, I gotta do another record, let's do another cycle. We're not like that. We're like so focused now. It's all about family and music, so we can't wait, you know.
Well, and that's the other thing about Korn too. It's not really about reinventing, it's just about testing new waters all the time. And I think that has had a lot to do with your longevity. I think with Korn and all the different phases and the different styles of music you tap into, that helps, you know, keep that music flowing. It keeps it new and it keeps it different.
Sure.
And talking about actually with the 20-year anniversary of the first album, I know this kind of dips back into Jonathan's, you know, kind of the hard times that he dealt with as a child, and seeing him at Louder Than Life, it seemed like he was tapping right into it, and it was good. It made it better this time around. How's he dealing with like digging back into some of those emotions?
Well, that's the thing. The big question was, is he going to do the song Daddy? Because it's such a heavy song. And he says, I'm in a different place in my life. I'm in a different zone. I'm happy, you know, with his children. And so we're gonna do the entire record. Start with, I don't know what exactly the first show is, but sometime in February, I think. Is that right? February? March. So we're going to start.
To go overseas or something.
And do some festival dates and selected stuff in the States. So it's going to be awesome. Being a huge fan of that record, obviously, to be a part of it, it's really invigorating just to be in that. And because that zone they were all in at that time, they had no idea what this band was going to do. You know, a lot of bands get that first shot and it's over. Like, hey, we give it a little shot. This band blew up and stayed on this cloud for 2 decades, and that rarely happens to anybody's career or any musician on the planet. Very small percent, you know.
That's true. And Korn was always that band. They were the ones that were kind of the ones setting the precedents, and other bands were just jumping over. And I go, what about Korn? I mean, these guys are the ones that kind of laid the foundation. I kind of feel that way about Seven Dust as well. I think Seven Dust is one of the most amazing bands, and a lot of people kind of took over their style and sort of moved and all that.
It's weird what appeals to the masses and what it always baffles me to this day. And you think being in it as long as we've been in it would know it by now, and we still have question marks about a lot of it, because why isn't this band huge? Why is that band huge? They are horrible to us, but somehow they appeal to the masses, and that's what, you know, not that they don't deserve, not that everyone doesn't deserve a chance, but people like ourselves that are lifers, this is all we do, this is all we think about, this is all we breathe, eat. So it's like, you really, you know, it obviously it comes back to the fans, you know, and that's why people always say they have the best fans, but Korn fans, there's something about they're lifers, man. I mean, there's tattoos, there's like all the album covers down their legs, and they're showing up to these shows, and I'm just like, you know, before I became a member of the band, I was really like taken back by like just how passionate they were, and this is my 47th Korn show, and this is, I'm like, what?
Yep.
If Bonham came back from the dead, I wouldn't go see Zeppelin 47th. Are you kidding me? It's like, so, you know, it's truly amazing. You know?
That's the truth, and you said that. I was about to say, I've seen more Korn tattoos on bodies than I've seen any other band on the planet.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have documented this 20-year thing, and I know you've only been with for the last 7-8 years, but there's documentation. There's like a photo book.
There's an amazing
now,
photo book coming out.
And a documentary and everything. Talk about those a little bit.
Yeah, you can check out everything online. Obviously, Korn.com has a lot of the info. But yeah, Sebastian Paquette, our trustworthy, 9-year photographer now, has documented and put this amazing book together, you know, of from the get-go till now, and it's pretty mind-blowing. You can just watch some trailers on YouTube right now. And is there any other sites besides Korn.com? Pledge Music. PledgeMusic.com has it on there, and it's amazing. Like even if you're not for the diehard fan, it's a must. There's no question about it. But even if you're not a diehard fan, flipping through this book will make you really get inside and feel what's going on. It's like, it's kind of, you know, some pictures do that, like takes you there. This book does that. Especially
if you've been to some of the shows and you recognize, oh my God, I was at that show.
Totally.
So Ray, Pittsburgh, a local, he's like right here.
Yeah, I'm not too far. A couple hours out.
Talk a little bit about, as well, you're doing something that you participate in with George Lynch, I believe.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Glad you brought that up. I'm very, very proud of this record called KXM. Me and George go way back. I've done his DVDs, and we've been friends.
Mr. Scary.
Yes, Mr. Scary. His wife is my realtor. You know, all kinds of, you know, we just go, it's awesome. He's a guitar legend. Everybody knows, you know. I'm the biggest King's X fan on the planet. I love Doug Pinnick. I think they should have been bigger than the Beatles. I don't know why. Again, with the whole why they didn't break. They've done Woodstock. They've done all this. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I said before I died I wanted to be on a record with Doug Pinnick, and my dream more than came true. And we put out a really, really solid record and put out 3 really good videos, and we have tons of behind the scenes footage of it. And check it out on YouTube, KXM, and it's on iTunes right now. We hope to get some shows in next year. Korn was so busy this year, we just couldn't do it, but hopefully next year.
That'd be awesome. Yep. I have one more quick question for you. Okay, this is in movies. Hunger Games with Jennifer Lawrence or Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, Samuel, John Travolta. Which one would you go for?
I'm so into Pulp Fiction. That's like one of my that's one of my ace. I'm
Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah,
it's a chopper. Get on. We got to go.
Every time it's on, if it's 5 minutes into it, an hour and a half, I will watch it the whole thing. It's like I'm obsessed with that movie.
Ray, Korn, In Town, Blitzmas sold out. Let's close out with the dance. Will you do this with me? Come on.
Sure.
Pulp Fiction, ready?
Oh. Yeah, I can't.
We tried. Thank you.
You threw me off. I'm like, wow.
I'm going to make you swing your hips.
Totally. I'm like, so out of it. I'm like, wow, she's